In this video, we will look at some ways to organize your ideas in Speaking Tasks 1 and 2. In Speaking Task 1, Giving Advice, you will be asked to make some suggestions to help someone with a problem or challenge. Before you start speaking, try to have a few ideas in your mind and put these in a particular order. You will be provided with note paper during the test, so you could even write these main ideas down. Let's look at an example. Here are the instructions. Your friend was hired for a position at a software development company. Since she only recently graduated from university, this will be the first job she has ever had. Give her advice on how she should prepare for her first day at work. You will have 30 seconds to prepare before your recording time begins. You might jot down some ideas like this. Try to make a good first impression. Dress up. Introduce yourself. Remember people's names. The order here makes sense. In general, you want to make a good first impression when you start a job. Dressing up is something you will do at home before you get to work. Introducing yourself will be something you will do once you are at the workplace, and after that, you will try to remember your coworkers' names. When you are speaking, try to introduce each new idea with a word or phrase that will help the listener know that you are moving on to a new idea. You could use words and phrases like, first of all, next, another thing you should do, and it might be worth considering. Try to leave yourself enough time to say 1 or 2 sentences of encouragement at the end of your response. Something like, "Well, I hope that helps you. Good luck on your first day." In Speaking Task 2, talking about a personal experience, you will describe an event from your past. Pay close attention to the instructions in this task, as they will help you organize your response. You will usually be asked to do more than one thing. Let's look at an example. Talk about a time when you acted as a leader. Maybe you can talk about taking on a leadership role in a family, school, or company activity. What was the activity? How did you lead others? And what was the final result? In this case, you're being asked to talk about 3 things. What was the activity? How did you lead others? And what was the final result? So for this example, there will be 3 sections to your response. Taking some quick notes could help here. Let's look at an example of some notes based on an experience I had as a teacher in Vancouver. I once took a group of students on a tour of the city. Here are what my notes would look like. What was the activity? Well, I took my students on a tour. How did you lead others? I showed them some of the famous parts of Vancouver. It'll help guide my response if I am really specific here. We met at the Steam Clock, then we went to Chinatown, Stanley Park, and Robson Street for shopping. What was the final result? Well, the students were happy and they were surprised by all that Vancouver has to offer. Okay, now I'm going to feel much better as I start speaking, knowing that I have planned out my ideas. When describing this personal experience, it will also be really helpful if I use words that show the sequence of events on the day of my tour of the city. Here is my example response, showing how I use words that indicate the order in which things happened. I'm going to talk about a time when, as a teacher, I took some international students on a tour of Vancouver. About 12 students came out that day. They were from all over the world, and none of them knew Vancouver very well. In the morning, we met at the Steam Clock, which is a famous historical landmark in Vancouver. Then we went to Chinatown. It's one of the largest in North America. After that, I took them to Stanley Park so that they could enjoy the city's natural side. Finally, I took them to Robson Street so that they could do some shopping for souvenirs and brand-name goods. By the end of the day, the students had a pretty good feel for the city and they had a great time. Several of them said that they were surprised by all that Vancouver has to offer. Here I've used the words in the morning, then, after that, and finally to show the order of the day's events. I have also used the transition by the end of the day to signal to the listener that I have moved from a description of the day's activities to a discussion of the consequences or result of those activities. These type of transition words and phrases are an excellent way of organizing the ideas in your response. In this video, we have discussed how best to organize your responses in speaking tasks 1 and 2. In the next video, we will discuss some strategies to organize your responses in speaking tasks 3 and 4.